Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, July 8th, and it is 11 o'clock, so it is time for our daily lectionary reading. So, what do we have for you today on tap? We've got Psalm 24. So, we're starting a new psalm today. And we've been in the story of David as our Old Testament. Today, for the next 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're going to take a little detour and we're going to go into Exodus and Numbers because we're going to be talking about the Ark of the Covenant. And then, what else do we have? We have Colossians 2, 1 to 5. So we've been in Colossians for, let's see, we're going to start today, and we've got today and tomorrow, we're going to spend in Colossians, which is the book, the letter of Paul to the church at Colossae. All right, so let's go on. Psalm 24, an entrance into the temple. The earth is the Lord's, and all that is in it, the world and those who live in it. For he has founded it on the seas and established it on the rivers. Who shall ascend the hill of the Lord, and who shall stand in his holy place? Those who have clean hands and pure hearts, who do not lift up their souls to what is false, and do not swear deceitfully. They will receive blessing from the Lord and vindication from the God of their salvation. Such is the company of those who seek him, who seek the face of the God of Jacob. Lift up your heads, O gates, and be lifted up, O ancient doors, that the King of glory may come in. So who is the King of glory? The Lord, strong and mighty, the Lord, mighty in battle. Lift up your hands, O gates, and be lifted up, O ancient doors, that the King of glory may come in. And who is this King of glory? The Lord of hosts. He is the King of glory. Now we have our little side trip, Exodus 25, 10 to 22. They shall make an ark of acacia wood, and it shall be 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. Cubit, remember, is about 1.5 feet. It's hand to elbow. You shall overlay it with pure gold, inside and outside you shall overlay it, and you shall make a molding of gold upon it all around. You shall cast 4 rings of gold for it and put them on its 4 feet, 2 rings on one side of it and 2 rings on the other side. And you shall make poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold. And you shall put the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark by which to carry the ark. The pole shall remain in the rings of the ark; they shall not be taken from it. You shall put into the ark of the covenant that I shall give you. You shall put into the ark the covenant I shall give you. That's the 10 Commandments, by the way. You might hear covenant. Some translations will say the testimony, but it's typically thought to be the 10 Commandments. Then you shall make a mercy seat of pure gold. 2.5 cubits shall be its length, and 1.5 cubits its width. You shall make 2 cherubim of gold. You shall make them of hammered work at the 2 ends of the mercy seat. Make 1 cherub at one end and 1 cherub at the other, of one piece with the mercy seat. So they're attached. They're part of it. You shall make the cherubim at its 2 ends. The cherubim shall spread their wings above, overshadowing the mercy seat with their wings. They shall face one to another. The faces of the cherubim shall be turned toward the mercy seat. You shall put the mercy seat on top of the ark, and in the ark you shall put the covenant that I shall give you, again the 10 Commandments. There I will meet with you, and from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubim that are on the ark of the covenant, I will deliver to you all my commands for the Israelites. Now, we have all these verbal descriptions, and for some people, it's easy to visualize, and for some, it's not so easy. So what I did, I printed out, see if I can do this right here. This is an artist's rendition of the Ark of the Covenant. So the only thing is the poles here should be covered in gold, and they don't have them as gold. But here's the ark, and here are the cherubim at the ends, and they're overshadowing this right here is the mercy seat. This was considered to be the throne of God. This is where God's presence would be. That God would literally be found right there and speak to them from right there. So that was the Ark of the Covenant. And it was carried by those poles. So they didn't actually touch the ark. There, and I don't know if we're gonna get the story. I have to check. And it's somewhere in the lectionary, I'm sure, is the story where they were traveling and the ark started to lean, and they put their hand out to steady it and brace it, and they were struck dead because they touched the Ark of the Covenant. So that was our description. We're going to get into a little bit more tomorrow and Saturday. So we got Exodus today and tomorrow, and then Numbers on Saturday, and they're all talking about the Ark of the Covenant. Now, if you watched Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, they had a pretty good rendition of the Ark there as well, if memory serves. I might have to check that out. Hopefully I didn't mislead you. But I seem to recall going, oh yeah, that's pretty good. Colossians 2, 1-5. For I want you to know how much I am struggling for you, and for those in Laodicea, and for all who have not seen me face to face. I want their hearts to be encouraged and united in love, so that they may have all the riches of assured understanding and the knowledge of God's mystery, that is, Christ himself, in whom are hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. I'm saying this so that no one may deceive you with plausible arguments. For though I am absent in body, yet I am with you in spirit, and I rejoice to see your morale and the firmness of your faith in Christ. In Colossians, we have kind of similar to what's going on, what Paul dealt with in Corinth, the church in Corinth, and other churches, is he would establish these churches and get them going. Some of them, I think Corinth, he stayed for 1.5 years. Ephesus. But he established these churches, and then he would move on, and he stayed in touch with them with these letters. But what was happening is we had these itinerant missionaries who had a warped version of the gospel, of the story of Jesus. Now, some scholars think they were Gnostics, and Gnosticism is a whole big convoluted ball of crazy. It is all about their secret knowledge. But anyway, these itinerant missionaries, which is kind of what Paul was, but they were coming behind him, and they were stirring up trouble in the churches that he had established, because they were coming along saying, well, Paul didn't have it right. We've got it right. We've got the straight skinny. And some of the people were falling for this. So Paul there's almost this constant struggle where he's trying to reinforce and encourage and to keep them firm in their faith so that they don't fall victim to these plausible arguments, as he says here. If it was the Gnostics, it's all about there's secret knowledge that you can have. I don't know, modern day parallel would be to me, the prosperity gospel. You know, you would hate to see people falling victim to that, because that's not really the gospel. It is a false doctrine, to put it mildly, but it's dangerous. And that's Paul was trying to do. He's trying to keep them in orthodoxy, and the right beliefs, to keep them from straying from the knowledge of Christ that Paul had taught them. So this was there. You'll see these mentions in a lot of Paul's letters where he's referring to those people who might deceive with false arguments, those who are just trying to stir up trouble. And a lot of those were apparently trying to raise money too, wanting an offering. Whereas Paul will often talk about how he worked for nothing, that he supported himself. He never asked these churches for money to help him, and that should kind of show them who's got the right of it. So anyway, just a little snippet of Paul's letter to the Colossians. I think we got today and tomorrow in Colossians, and then we're going to go to Luke and then Acts. And it looks like we bounce back to Colossians chapter 1 in next week at some point. So yeah, lectionary can be fun. Doesn't always put things in the same order. I like, if you look through the daily readings on the lectionary site, it's got, for each day, it's got a complementary, which is passages that support thematically or are thematically linked, basically. And then they've got what they call the semi-continuous, which is what I've been doing, the semi-continuous, which kind of takes us through a story in the Old Testament through Saul and David, and it is semi-continuous where they're cutting out bits, but it's mostly telling this story, so it's in all one piece. The gospel, the New Testament passages don't always do that. Sometimes they jump back and forth. As today we did Colossians 2, and next week we go back to Colossians chapter 1. So, lectionary is fun. That is it for today. It's been 11 and a half minutes. You've listened to me. So, the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are pre-recorded. They will be out at the normal time. 11 o'clock for Friday and Saturday, and I don't remember Sunday morning what time I put. I put early. It's not really me up at 7 o'clock or 6:30 or whatever time I've got them coming out. So I will see you guys live next week, but on video tomorrow. Bye. See ya.